Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Students, last lecture we have discussed about the Michelson and Stahl experiment to prove that DNA replication is semi-conservative. Now today we are going to start to see the process of replication. What is process of replication? We have given the reference of DNA replication in our previous lecture. Also we'll give the reference in this lecture again. Replication process. The replication process, you know that usually takes place at which stage of cell cycle? You know that there are two major phases of cell cycle: interphase and cell division, that is mitosis. During interphase you have studied subphases as well, like G1 phase, S phase and G2 phase, and the process of replication takes place during S phase, that is what? Synthesis phase, in which we will observe the process of DNA replication. You know that it's a continuous process, but for the convenience of the study we will divide into different segments so that we can easily understand the different stages of process of DNA replication. First of all, we will see what is the origin of replication. What is the origin of replication? As far as the origin of replication is concerned, keep in your mind that we have studied two types of cells. Number one, prokaryotic cell, and number two, eukaryotic cell. Two kinds of cells. The origin of replication, in case of prokaryotes, there is only one site of origin of replication in case of prokaryotic cell, like bacteria. You know that in prokaryotes the DNA is double-stranded circular. So we will show here diagrammatically. In this diagram you can observe that we are showing double-stranded DNA in case of bacteria. Don't consider these two strands are separate. We have, for the convenience, we have separated them already, and these two strands are there, and there is only single site of origin of replication in case of prokaryotic cell. We will show where the origin of replication is there. Say for example, in the same diagram we will see here you can see the what is this site of origin of replication. This is the site of origin of replication. These two strands of the DNA get separated, and here you will observe the complementary strand. This strand is this strand as well as this strand. These both strands serve as the template strands. These are template strands, okay, and the complete strand, these complementary strands will be observed over here. Complementary strand will be observed over here, and the structure here it is formed. What is this actually? This structure is basically what? It's a replication bubble. You can observe the shape, it's look like a bubble. So we can say that what is this? Replication bubble. It's called replication bubble. And as far as what is replication fork? Replication fork. As far as replication fork is concerned, you can observe in this replication bubble, these are two DNA strands. Later on in the coming part of the lecture we will see that what is the mechanism of DNA replication in these two strands, and one is towards the replication, our other is away from the replication fork. In this replication bubble, you can observe two replication forks are there. One is observed over here in this part. This one is one replication bubble. Here we will show here. This one is one replication bubble, and in this part you can observe the second replication bubble here. And the complementary strand will also show the complementary strand. These are the what complementary strand, just for to understand. And one replication fork and the second replication fork. In one replication fork, you will observe the process of replication, that is away from the replication fork, and in other strand you will observe toward the replication fork. Similarly, in this case also, one away from the replication fork to the second one is toward the replication fork. So in case of prokaryotes, you have observed that only one replication bubble is there and only one site of origin of replication. Is that clear to you? And next we will come toward the eukaryotic cell. In case of eukaryotic cell, you know that the DNA is linear. It's not circular DNA, it's linear DNA, and the origin site or origin of replication is at more than one place. So how it is more than one place, again we will see with the help of diagram. We will see what is this. These two line indicates the parental DNA. One is in 5-3 direction, other is in 3-5 direction, in 3-5 direction, anti-parallel. These two strands are basically what? The parental DNA, and these two strands are also called what? Template strand. These are called template strands. You know that in case of DNA replication, both strands serve as a template, because the duplication occurs in this strand as well as in this strand. So this is also important question that may ask in the MCQs, that in case of DNA replication, whether one strand is participating or both strands are participating as a template strand. So you must know that both strands are taking part in the process of replication. Now we'll see the site of origin of replication. As far as site of origin of replication are concerned, again we will observe in this diagram. I will show you over here in simplified diagram. 5 end, 3 end, and 3 end, and this one is what? 5 end. And here we will show the site of origin of replication. We have already shown two strands are get separated. How these two strands are separated we'll discuss in the later part of this lecture. Now you can see that these are the parental strands, these are the parental strands. We already mentioned in our lecture that these are considered as what? Template strands. And where the complementary strand will be formed, you can observe over here. This one is what? Complementary strand. This one is again complementary strand. This one is the complementary strand, and this one is complementary. We have shown only two site of origin. This one is the site of origin. This one may be more than two site of origins are there in case of what? Eukaryote. So in prokaryotes only one site of origin of replication is there. In case of eukaryotic cell, there are more than one site of origin of replications are there. And what are these? These are replication bubbles. And as far as the replication bubbles are concerned, you can observe in this diagram again that how many replication fork will be formed in one replication bubble. You can observe imaginary, we will draw a line over here. You can observe that in this side as well as on this side. These are the lines we are going to draw. We will show it over here. This one is the first one, this one is the first one, and this one is the what? Second one. Now you can observe separately. This one replication fork, this one is the second replication. So in one replication bubble you can observe two replication forks. One, and in one template the direction of replication will be away from the replication fork, and in other strand, in other on other template the daughter strand will point towards the replication fork, same like just like that of what we have discussed in the prokaryotes. So at the end what happened? When the process of replication in both directions will complete, what happened next? What happened next? Two daughter DNA will be formed. Two daughter DNA will be formed. We will show over here in the diagram. This one is the first one, and this one is the second one. This one is the second one. This one is in 3 direction, is this one is in 5 direction. Anti-parallel again, this one is in 3 direction, this one is in 5 direction, and this one is 5, and this one is in 3 direction, anti-parallel. Now you can see that one is the parental stand. In case again this one is the parental stand, these stands were template stand, or what is this, daughter stand or complementary stand. So what is this, is what the process of replication in case of what, eukaryotic cell. So we have what we have discussed up till now. We have discussed origin of replication, and you must know that which sort of questions would be taken for MCQs in teacher's point of view. Site of origin is 1 in case of prokaryotes, more than 1 in case of eukaryotes. In replication bubble, how many replication forks will be formed? You must know 2. And how the process of replication is proceeds, we will discuss in the coming part. As we have already mentioned that for the convenience of the study, we will divide the process of replication into 3 phases. So this is basically what the first phase of the process of replication, in which we have discussed all this. Now we will see the details of different types of enzymes which are involved in the process of replication, and what is their role as well. You know that DNA is in helical form, and in helical form obviously it is twisted around, both strands are twisted around each other just like a twisted ladder. And now obviously the winding must be rewind or unwind. It is winded form, it must be unwind. And how it will be unwind, obviously there will be role of certain other enzymes. We will see the details of those enzymes. Say for example, first of all, in case of replication bubble, number 1 is DNA gyrase, which is also named as topoisomerase. This one is the first enzyme, and the second one is helicase enzyme. Helicase enzyme. Gyrase, DNA gyrase or topoisomerase. What is the role of DNA gyrase or topoisomerase? You know that DNA is in a twisted form. What is the role of gyrase? Untwist the DNA, unfold the DNA. It is a twisted form, twisted ladder like, and it will become unfolded ladder. Okay, so what is the role of gyrase? To unwind the DNA or topoisomerase. The second one is what? Helicase enzyme. Helicase enzyme is meant for what? You know that these, what is actually present between the nucleotides? You know that hydrogen bonding is present. Hydrogen bonding means the 2 strands are held together by hydrogen bonding. So what is the role of helicase? To break the bonding between the bases so that the 2 strands will become separate. In the replication bubble, you can observe that the 2 strands are already separated. So helicase enzyme is responsible to separate 2 strands so that replication bubble will be formed. Before going to start the process of replication, we must have the knowledge of the enzyme which is mainly involved in the process of replication. And you know that what is the name of that enzyme? DNA polymerase. So we will see the details of all 3 types of DNA polymerase, and then we will see that how they work, how they perform their role in the process of replication. 3 types of DNA polymerase are: number 1, DNA polymerase 1. The second one is DNA polymerase 2, and the third one is DNA polymerase 3. So these 3 types of DNA polymerase are there which are taking part in the replication process. So first of all we will see the functional role of DNA polymerase 1. DNA polymerase 1 is basically involved in termination process of what? Of replication, the termination process of replication. And another role of DNA polymerase is there, that is it also support the DNA polymerase 3 where in replication process. The question is there how? These are the question mark. So we will give the answer when we will go toward the last phase of the process of replication, that is what? Termination. So we will give the details over here. And here is a clue is there that the DNA polymerase is actually what? Is the main DNA replicating enzyme. So support DNA polymerase 3 in which? In replication process. So this is the role of DNA polymerase 1. And now we will see what is the role of DNA polymerase 2. As for a DNA polymerase 2 is concerned, it is mainly play its role in repairing process of DNA. In repairing process of DNA. When? Keep in your mind that during the lifetime of cell. So what is this? This is the role of DNA polymerase 2. And now we will come toward the DNA polymerase 3, and this DNA polymerase 3 is basically actually the DNA replicating enzyme. This one is actual DNA replicating enzyme. So it forms the daughter strand. It forms the daughter strand along the template strand. You know that what is template strand? Parental strand is called template strand. So we'll give first of all give you the details of this major DNA replicating enzyme, that is DNA polymerase 3. This DNA polymerase 3 is actually what? Dimer. Dimer means it is made by 2 subunits. Here we'll show a simplified diagram. These are the subunits of subunits. This simplified diagram. Say for example, this one is the unit number 1, and this one is the unit number 2. And these 2 subunits are held together by polypeptide chain. So what is DNA polymerase 3? Is a dimer having 2 subunits. These 2 subunits are made by further subunits, and the unit number 1 and this one is the unit number 2. These 2 subunits are held together by polypeptide chain, and this enzyme is responsible for what? For polymerization of what? DNA daughter strand polymerization. It is mainly involved in polymerization, and it adds nucleotides from 3 end of DNA. 3 end means what is 3 end? We have already discussed when we have discussed the molecular details of nucleic acid. 3 end means that pentose sugar at 3rd carbon, what is present? OH group is present. So at 3 end, you keep in your mind that the nucleotide will be added. So this is also very important segment which is asked in MCQs from anti-test point of view. And if this point is clear, we must know the direction of process of replication. This is also important. 5 to 3 direction. What does it mean? 5 to 3 means, it doesn't mean that nucleotide will be added from 5 end, always added from 3 end. So we can show it here, 5 to 3 direction. 3 means what these dots indicate. These dots indicate that the nucleotide will be added from 3 end, and 3 end this is what is the identity of the 3 end or third carbon of the pentose sugar. What is present? OH group is present. So what is this? This is the direction of process of replication, whether it is leading strand or lagging strand. Now we will see what is the rate of replication, or mean that how much time will take to add nucleotide to make a complementary strand. So in generally you must know that the DNA polymerase 3 can add nucleotides at the rate of 1000 nucleotides per second. So this is the what speed of process of replication. So this is important role of a DNA polymerase 3. Another role of DNA polymerase 3 is there, that is it also involved in proofreading. Proofreading, what does it mean? Proofreading. Proofreading, students, keep in your mind that there may be some error in the DNA or during the process of replication. Sometimes what happened, some irrelevant, or you can say that according to the sequence of nucleotide, the sequence is changed, or you can say that nucleotide is changed. Nucleotide is changed. So proofreading means that it places the correct nucleotide at right place in the DNA. That is technically called what? Proofreading. When you make mistake in the spellings, in the spell of words. Similarly, the DNA, you know that having specific sequence of nucleotides which make what? The genetic code. So we can say that it is already predetermined. So whenever there is some wrong nucleotide placed along the length of DNA, the DNA polymerase 3 proofread, remove the wrong nucleotide and place in place of wrong nucleotide correct nucleotide. So this is also the role of what? DNA polymerase 3. So you have observed the roles of DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 2 and polymerase 3. And now we will see this in the sequence the second phase, that is what? Polymerization. Polymerization means elongation. You know that what is polymerization? Polymer means monomers makes what? Dimer, and dimer means trimer, and so on. What happened? Polymers are formed. The process of polymer formation is called what? Polymerization. And here polymerization means the daughter strands of DNA, how the daughter strand of DNA will be formed, technically called polymerization. So you know that DNA polymerase 3 is the main replicating enzyme, but one important point is here to be noted, that the DNA polymerase 3 cannot initiate the process of replication at its own. Cannot initiate. It needs a complementary strand. Complementary strand is required, and this complementary strand of when two strands get separated, we have given the role of topoisomerase, gyrase, and then the other enzyme which separate the two strands, that is helicase enzyme. Two strands get separated, so there is only single template strand. But as far as the process of replication is concerned, DNA polymerase 3 required a complementary strand, so it cannot initiate the process of replication unless the complementary strand is there, and this complementary strand is present in the form of what? Primer. And what is primer? It is basically sequence of RNA nucleotides, which are also named as ribonucleotides. These are also named as ribonucleotides. And how many? What is the sequence of RNA? How many nucleotides are there? Keep in your, it's a sequence of 10 nucleotides in primer. And which enzyme is responsible in the formation of primer? Primase enzyme is there, which is responsible to make what? Primer. So when the primer will become attached later on, after completion of this segment, we will go toward the diagram, and I will show you the diagrammatically that what happened is in reality, because still we will give the details of leading strand as well as the lagging strands, how they will form and how the termination will be proceeded. So what is this primer? Now primer is formed. What happened next? Next we will see that how the leading strand and how the lagging strand will be formed. What is the template of leading strand and what is the template for lagging strand, and what are Okazaki fragments. And now we will see all three enzymes, that is DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 2 and DNA polymerase 3, their role in the formation of leading strand and lagging strand, and we will show with the help of diagram. Now I am going to draw now you can see in this diagram what is this DNA double helical structure, and in this position we have shown topoisomerase enzyme. The topoisomerase enzyme, what is the other name of this enzyme? Other name is DNA gyrase enzyme. What is the role of topoisomerase? We have already mentioned. It unwinds the DNA. It unwinds the DNA. It is twisted form, just like a twisted ladder. It will be unwind, straight ladder. Okay, so topoisomerase. And what is this helicase enzyme? Helicase enzyme separate the two strands of the DNA. These two strands are what? Actually these are both serve as template strands, and on one strand you can observe, students, what is this? SSB. What is SSB stand for? I will show here. SSB means single strand binding protein. It is also called DNA destabilizing protein. DNA destabilizing protein. Single strand binding protein, you can observe it is attached on one strand, so that is why it is called single strand binding protein, also called DNA destabilizing protein. What is the role of this protein? During DNA replication process, the chances are there that these two strands may again rejoin, so they keep the two strands of DNA destable, so that is why they are called DNA destabilizing protein. So because they are attached on single strand, so they are called single strand binding protein. So this is the role. Okay, and now you will see these two strands are there. One is named, these are two DNA strands. One is named template for leading strand, and other is named as template for lagging strand. Why? We'll give the details of why that the DNA process of replication is in opposite direction. One is toward the replication fork, other is away from the replication fork. Reason, DNA molecule, you know that DNA molecule is a double helical structure. One is in 3 direction, other is in 3 5 direction. So the process of replication, we have already mentioned that in 3 direction, from where the nucleotide will be added, from 3 end. 2 strands are anti-parallel, so obviously if this one is the 3 end, the nucleotide will be added toward the replication fork, and this end is away from the replication fork. You can say that the nucleotide will be added away from the replication fork. So that is why the 2 strands are anti-parallel, and the mechanism, the process of replication is also a little different. So this strand is template for the leading strand, and this strand for the template for lagging strand. And we have already mentioned that DNA polymerase 3, which is the main DNA replicating enzyme in this diagram, student, you can observe that this one is the first subunit of DNA polymerase 3, and this one is the second subunit of DNA polymerase 3. So the first subunit is attached with which strand. This is also very important point to be noted for MCQ, from MCQ's point of view, that the first subunit is attached on template for leading strand, and it is responsible for the formation of what? Leading strand. Or in this site you can observe that there is no hurdle in the addition of nucleotides. This is the direction of process of replication, and it is towards the replication fork. From this side you can observe the helicase enzyme continuously. What is the job of helicase? To separate the 2 strands and topoisomerase unwind the DNA, so the nucleotide will be added continuously over here. So that is why this side, the process of replication is called continuous replication. So this is called what? Continuous replication. And when we will come toward the other strand, that is second, that is template for the lagging strand. Why it is lagging strand? We have already mentioned the direction of process of replication in 5-3 direction. So obviously those 2 strands are anti-parallel. So what happened? So the process of replication is impossible that it will start from this end. If it start from this end, here will be the 3 end, and what is there? The second complementary strand will be the 5 end. Whether it is the primer having 3 end on this side, 5 end on this side, so never ever nucleotide will be added from the 5 end. So keep it, nucleotide will be added from 3 end. So it is not possible to continue the process of replication from this end. So that is why new strategy is there. New mechanism is there. In this case, you can observe that the RNA primer, in case of leading strand, the RNA primer is attached where? From the right from the beginning side of the process of replication is the continuous replication. You can observe that this one is the penetrance 3 end, this one will be the 5 end, and this will be the 3 end. So nucleotide will be added from where? 3 end of the primer. 3 end of the primer. Now you can see that the primer is placed from distance from the site of origin of replication. From distance you can observe that here the RNA primer is placed. And what is the second subunit of the DNA polymerase 3? What is the role of the second subunit of DNA polymerase 3? It will make a segment of DNA, and this segment is called Okazaki fragment. This segment is called Okazaki fragment, and the length of Okazaki fragment is different in prokaryotic as well as in eukaryotic cell. As far as the length of Okazaki fragment in eukaryotic cell is concerned, in case of eukaryotic cell, the length of Okazaki fragment is 100 to 200 nucleotides. But as far as prokaryotic cell is concerned, prokaryotic cell, it is from 1000 to 2000 nucleotides. So keep in your mind, this is also the information type data that must be kept in your mind, so that you can never forget, because it may taken as a option in your MCQs. So what is this Okazaki fragment made by? What? Second subunit of DNA polymerase 3. So you can observe that the Okazaki fragment is formed, and again we have shown that it is already formed primer. The already formed primer is over here. And how this primer is removed, how this primer will be removed. Keep in your mind that when the Okazaki is formed, what is the position of DNA polymerase? This one is the position of DNA polymerase 1. Okay, and this DNA polymerase 3 enzyme, when starting from this point reach at this point, this DNA polymerase 3 enzyme subunit will jump back toward the replication fork, where another primer will form and it will become attached on the 3 end of the primer and make another Okazaki fragment. So this Okazaki fragment is formed and another Okazaki fragment keep. And here the point to be noted, what? The point to be noted is the DNA polymerase 3 enzyme second subunit, when complete the formation of Okazaki fragment, it will jump back toward the replication fork, The question is there, toward the replication fork, away from the replication fork. So you must keep in your mind that it will jump toward the replication fork. So Okazaki fragment is formed and it will jump here, and again another RNA primer is there, and a new Okazaki fragment will be formed. Now in the process of termination, there is important role of DNA polymerase 1. What is the role of DNA polymerase 1? Keep in your mind that it's perform dual function. What is its dual function? The dual function means that it serves as polymerase. It serves as polymerase, and it also serves as exonuclease. Polymerase means just like that of DNA polymerase 3, add nucleotides, and from where it will add nucleotides? It will add nucleotide from the 3 end of the Okazaki fragment. Okazaki fragment, say for example, start from here. This will be the 3 end of the Okazaki fragment, and here the primer is present. It will, first of all, it will remove the nucleotides of primer by whom? By exonuclease enzyme. Why it is called exonuclease? Why it is not endonuclease? In biotechnology chapter you will see more detail in recombinant DNA technology. Endonuclease is that enzyme that which cuts the DNA from the middle or the central part of the DNA. But exonuclease is the enzyme which cuts the DNA or RNA from one end. From 5 end it will cleave and it will remove the nucleotide, and the primer is gradually removed. And the same enzyme, that is DNA polymerase, serve as DNA polymerase, just like that of DNA polymerase 3, and it will add nucleotides from where? It will add the nucleotide from the 3 end of the Okazaki fragment. So fill the gap, it will fill the gap. So this is a dual function. So we will sum up the DNA polymerase function. Number 1, it serves as exonuclease, cleave or break the primer from the 5 end and add nucleotides. The gap is there to fill the gap. To fill the gap, it serves as a polymerase to add nucleotides of the DNA. And what happened next? These Okazaki fragments will join together by another enzyme that is called DNA ligase. And this DNA ligase, when 2 Okazaki fragments join together, they will join together by phosphodiester linkage. So in this way you can observe that this strand is called lagging strand. Why? Because it is formed in fragments, and later on these fragments are joined together by DNA ligase enzyme. So it is discontinuous replication, and in the leading strand you have observed continuous replication, and it is toward the replication fork. And this one you can observe is what? Discontinuous replication. Why? Because it is basically you observe that it in fragments. So that is why it is called discontinuous replication. And what is the direction of discontinuity? Away from the replication fork. So in this way, the two templates of DNA form two daughter strands. One is the leading strand, other is the lagging strand. So in this way, the process of replication proceeds in cells. So students, up till now we have discussed the process of DNA replication, and this topic and the coming topics are also very, very important from your anti-test point of view, and the key points you must keep remember so that you can apply this knowledge in different situations. When your concept is clear, you must be able to apply this knowledge. That I have given you certain clues, which points are very important, where you will concentrate, where the student make the mistakes. You must know all those points. That, say for example, at the end of this lecture we have given the reference of role of DNA polymerase 1 exonuclease, from which side it will cleave 5' of home primer RNA primer, and from which side it will add nucleotides. It will add nucleotides from 3' of home of Okazaki fragment. So what are these? These are all questions. The direction of replication away from the replication fork toward the replication fork. This is also the what question. Which subunit is involved in the formation of the lagging strand? Which subunit of DNA polymerase 3 is involved in the formation of leading strand? This is also the question. So what is the role of single strand binding protein? Why it is called DNA destabilizing protein? This one is also important question. And which DNA polymerase is responsible for a repairing process, and which DNA polymerase is responsible for proofreading? All these are what? These are the questions. So directly or indirectly, you must know that how to apply this knowledge. Hopefully you got it, and thank you very much.